Hello and welcome to episode 2 of my Castle Stories series. Today I'm going to discuss everything in the first episode but in a lot more depth. This will include some information about the Kickstarter, an explanation of Credit Island, more details about the way you build, and all the confirmed types of bricktrons and enemy bricktrons. So let's start with the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is ending in 6 days, so if you're watching this after 6 days, then bad luck. If you don't know what Kickstarter is, it's a website that helps fund development of games and a lot of other titles. It does this by the fans of the game just backing it up, and depending on how much you pledge or how much money you give to the title, the better the rewards will be. A link to the Kickstarter will be in the description so you can have a look for yourself and see all the different tiers. I don't recommend going for the lowest amount, which is $15, I would go for the $25. This is because if you go with the $15 version, you won't get access to a prototype version of the game. Although you will still get access to the beta, that will essentially be updated until it's the full game. This is also true for the $30 and $45 versions, only you get access to 2 betas and 2 prototypes to give to your friends. The $30 one coming with the beta, and the $45 coming with both the prototype and the beta. Now if you pledge $15 or more, you will get your name in the game. Which brings me to my next section, which is Credit Island. Now this Credit Island will be accessible at any time in the game, meaning you won't have to unlock it by doing very well, etc. Now this island will have lots and lots of gems scattered around, and each gem will contain the name of a backer. When you break a gem, the soul of the backer will float out and go to a location where all the released souls gather. The more souls you release, the better your score will be. Some gems will also contain stuff like concept art and Easter eggs. And finally, if you find your own name within the game, you will actually gain an achievement for it. I really like the idea of Credit Island. It almost creates a mini-game that is also saying thanks to all the people who backed up your game in the beginning. The next section of this video is building. When in Castle Story you place a brick, it doesn't instantly spawn there. Instead it has a phased out version. This phased out version indicates that a bricktron will, when it has the right materials, it will lay a brick there. In order for a bricktron to do this, it will have to travel from the stockpile, pick up the brick and actually lay it itself. Now obviously there needs to be materials on the stockpile for the bricktrons to be able to do this. So what you do is you indicate where you'd want a mine shaft to be. Some bricktrons will go to the mine shaft, dig, find the materials and place them on the stockpile, thus allowing the other bricktron to go to the stockpile, collect the materials and place them and build your castle. This is also true for having to knock down trees to find wood to fill up your stockpile. Now let's move on to the different type of bricktrons as well as the different type of enemies. At this point in time there's only 3 types of bricktrons that you can place, this being the warrior, the archer and the builder. The archer is good for being placed on top of towers etc, so it can shoot enemies from further away. The warrior is your close-up encounter fighter, and the worker is the one you use for your mundane tasks such as resource gathering and building. Now what I like about these bricktrons is that the fact that you can just give a worker a bow and it becomes an archer, or you can give a warrior a hammer and it becomes a worker, as well as all the different combinations that I've missed or aren't in the game yet. Now there isn't much point having some badass bricktrons and some badass castle if there's nothing to defend it against. So next up is the enemies. Currently there are only 2 types of enemies, the first being the corruptron, which is the basic small melee fighter, and then you have the corruptron's bigger brother, which is bigger and slower, but it can also throw shit. Now I'm sure there will be a lot more different enemies and different varieties in the bricktrons you can place, but these are the only confirmed ones at the moment. Okay guys, that is everything from this video. Be sure to subscribe so that you can see Castle Story number 3 that will be released probably next week. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.